What happens if China invades Taiwan? You might have heard about this in the news, but it's about to happen sooner than you think. Other than immediate military and political repercussions, there will also be other impacts as well. But what exactly will happen? And how will it affect Taiwan? Stick around to find out. China considers Taiwan a rogue province, destined to be reunified under the rule of the Chinese Communist Party. However, the situation appears less clear if you were to ask countries like the US, Germany, Japan, or any other nation with significant trade ties with China. Officially, these countries adhere to the One China policy, recognizing either the government in Beijing or the government of Taipei, but not both. Despite this diplomatic stance, these countries engage in substantial trade with Taiwan, sell military equipment, and even send politicians for official visits. This situation may seem unstable, and indeed, China is not happy with the status quo. Chinese President Xi Jinping's top geopolitical objective is the reunification of Taiwan with mainland China. If China were to take control of Taiwan forcefully, the repercussions would be severe. However, before we get into that, let's do a quick history check between China and Taiwan. The Chinese Civil War concluded in 1949 as Chiang Kai-shek and his nationalist forces retreated to Taiwan, following successive defeats against Mao Zedong's communist forces. Taiwan was designated as the temporary capital of the Republic of China, which pledged to eventually reunify the mainland. Meanwhile, the Chinese Communist Party established the People's Republic of China on the mainland. Since then, both the PRC and the ROC have asserted themselves as the sole legitimate government of China. To draw a comparison, consider if in the US Civil War, the Union had triumphed over the Confederacy, but Confederate leaders had withdrawn to the Florida Keys and maintained a separate government there. This analogy helps explain why an authoritarian regime like the CCP would strongly oppose such fragmentation. Today, Taiwan boasts a population exceeding 23 million, and with each passing year, the prospect of peaceful reunification with China dwindles. Taiwanese citizens have observed the repercussions of Chinese governance in Hong Kong, where the territory was handed over by the British in 1997 under the One Country, Two Systems model. Originally, Hong Kong was promised to maintain its autonomy, encompassing freedoms of speech, an impartial judiciary, and a distinct legal system. However, in 2020, China imposed a sweeping national security law on Hong Kong, resulting in crackdowns on dissent and constraints on press and speech liberties. China has also intervened in Hong Kong's electoral processes and appointed pro-Beijing figures to influential governmental roles. Despite passionate protests from Hong Kong residents, minimal progress has been realized. Today, Taiwan possesses a constitution that ensures a broad spectrum of human rights, encompassing freedom of speech, assembly, association, and religion. Taiwanese citizens enjoy the right to vote and run for office. However, under CCP rule, these rights would likely be revoked. As an example, in 2017, a Chinese citizen was sentenced to 2 years in prison for sharing a meme on WeChat that compared Xi Jinping to Winnie the Pooh. The majority of Taiwanese people do not identify as Chinese nationals. According to polling by Chenchi University, 63% of the population exclusively identifies as Taiwanese, while 30% see themselves as both Taiwanese and Chinese. Less than 3% identify solely as Chinese. This inclination is even more pronounced among younger demographics, where a stronger Taiwanese identity is prevalent. In contrast, older generations often maintain connections to their Chinese heritage and may be more open to peaceful reunification. However, the younger generation, who would bear the consequences of any potential conflict, holds a distinct and unified Taiwanese national identity. Given their commitment to freedom and their strong sense of identity, it's understandable why they might resist peaceful reunification. Understanding China involves recognizing its status as a continental power. Like Russia and India, China boasts extensive land areas, substantial populations, and formidable military capabilities. Being deeply entrenched within a continent often translates to restricted access to the sea. As a result, continental powers such as China have historically shown inclinations toward expansionism, aiming to expand their territories to enhance economic strength. Nonetheless, this drive for expansion can lead to numerous problems. Countries with a continental foreign policy often get involved in many unnecessary conflicts. On the other hand, maritime powers like Japan, the UK, and the US boost their economic strength through lots of trade across open seas, giving them more freedom to decide what they do. In the past, these maritime powers have used their strong navies to surround China, especially by controlling the first island chain around China's coasts. This lets them either limit or help China's trade routes and military influence in the region. During the 20th century, China didn't have the power to recapture Taiwan, especially with maritime powers controlling the South China Sea. Nonetheless, China's deep-seated continental power instincts, rooted in its ancient culture, continue to endure. Many experts in various fields are expressing growing concerns about the increasing likelihood of conflict in the near future. Henry Kissinger, the former U.S. Secretary of State known for his pivotal role in establishing relations between the United States and China in the 1970s, has voiced a lack of optimism, suggesting that some form of military conflict is possible. Additionally, Taiwan's defense minister has issued a warning that China could be fully prepared to launch an invasion by 2025. In a more contemporary context, Admiral Phil Davidson, who heads the United States Indo-Pacific Command, has also raised alarms about China's escalating ambitions. He worries that China is rapidly advancing its efforts to challenge the United States leadership in the rules-based international order, a goal they have long pursued. Davidson is particularly concerned that China might aim to achieve this objective by 2050, possibly even accelerating the timeline. He sees Taiwan as a clear target for China before then, and stresses that the threat is becoming increasingly obvious within this decade. Over the next 6 years, Taiwan and other nations in the region observe China's military buildup, intelligence activities, and rhetoric, heightening concerns about the potential threat posed by China's actions. If you're still unsure of the seriousness of this threat, we don't know what to tell you. However, it's crucial to understand the logistical hurdles involved in a potential invasion of Taiwan. Unlike land invasions, naval invasions are much more intricate and resource-intensive, requiring a significant number of ships, aircraft, and supplies. Furthermore, the eastern two-thirds of Taiwan are mountainous, with peaks surpassing 10,000 feet, and many sections of the coastline feature extensive mudflats. Only a handful of suitable landing beaches exist, and these are heavily defended by the Taiwanese military. According to naval experts, there are only 3 months in the year conducive to attempting such an invasion: April, May, and August. Therefore, it's advisable to be cautious and avoid traveling to Taiwan during these periods. And that's about it for today's video. What are your thoughts on this topic? Will China truly push through with its invasion plan? Let us know in the comments below. While you're at it, give us a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.